Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Canopener, so the FV230 Canopener, which is going to be the brand new British Tier 10 Heavy tank coming in update 1.27.1. And to put it simply, yeah, it's going to be controversial, but this video is going to be a bit different than what other people have done because we do actually have some updated statistics that have not been released live, pushed by World of Tanks on their live portal yet, but we're going to discuss those. So, obviously this is bringing a brand new mechanic to the game. It's bringing this kind of like double barrel, but it's kind of like a mode instead of like the traditional, what we already have with the Soviet heavy tanks with a double barreled. It's bringing a new kind of style of mechanic where it's got a single shot mode and a double shot mode. So, it's going to be a bit fruity, and let's have a look at that. So, it's going to be British, so it's going to have what we'd consider to be the traditional, stereotypical British heavy tank traits of good DPM, mediocre alpha damage, good gun depression, and the ability to play hull down. That is basically what we get with British heavy tanks in World of Tanks. And the Canopener is going to be no different. It's going to have an absolutely lovely DPM of 2,628. That is going to be competing with the best. You know, that is going to be ranking up there. You know, you run a bond rammer on this thing, and yeah, where's my bond rammer gone? Oh, wait. Silly me. You can't run a bond rammer on this tank, and don't fall into that trap, because it is a double-barreled tank. So, its DPM is actually kind of pretty fixed. Yes, you can run vents. Go and run vents if you're a bit of a QB fan. Not going to judge you. But it can't really increase its DPM. But it's good, right? 2,700 or 2,600 base DPM is great. And you will be able to kind of compete with tanks that can run a gun rammer with that. So it's going to be quite nice. Alpha damage-wise, 420 is good. However, you know, that's not the true story with this tank because it has this double-barreled mode that we'll look at in a second. So 420 in its single-shot mode is really nice. Penetration-wise, 258mm standard is really quite nice, actually, for a tier 10 with AP. You know, it's 8mm better than the 60 TP, for example. However, its APCR gold penetration is lacking. 318mm will be found lacking, especially against tier 10 heavy tanks, where you kind of do want about 325mm plus nowadays. So 318 will struggle to an extent, but it's definitely usable, right? It's not going to be completely lacking. But this thing is going to be known for its gun handling. That is basically the story of the day with this tank, is its gun handling. In its single shot mode, it has 1.92 seconds aim time and 0.32 dispersion. That is lovely. And you will feel it. You know, for example, you run, I don't know, let's run vert stabs on this tank. So we run vert stabs, and look at our dispersion factors when we are, like, moving. They go from, you know, being 0.16 to kind of being, like, they're okay. Do not get me wrong, they're okay. However, you know, you run V-stabs on this tank, and, you know, 0.12, 0.12, 0.09, that's just lovely. And you will feel it. You know, you run vents on this tank, you know, it's an option, right? You know, 0.3 dispersion, that is ridiculous. Like, for a 420 alpha gun, which has like 2,700 DPM, being able to pull that up to 0.30 and 1.85 seconds aim time is just kind of a little bit funny. And at the end of the day, I'm just going to say it, pretty overpowered, to be honest with you. To have that alpha, that DPM, and that gun handling, you've just got the triple combo. Alpha, DPM, gun handling, and you are sweet in the kind of gun department. And this tank is. It has loads of ammo. For some reason, it carries 80. So, you know, you could kill pretty much the entire enemy team. You know, you've got 33,000 potential damage, which is just ridiculous. However, it struggles with its mobility. It's slow. So you are 100% going to have to give one equipment piece to a turbo. Ideally a bond turbo. 40 forwards with a bond turbo is still lacking, and you will be pretty slow to positions. And especially, you know, you run a standard turbo, and yes, you are going to be improving that, especially if you put it in the slot, which I haven't. Let me put it in the slot. There we go. Let's fix that. There we go. Let's put it in the slot. So, 39 with a standard turbo is okay, right? In the slot, it's okay. But you are going to be slow and you are going to feel that. So, do be aware that one equipment slot should be given to a turbo. 14 in reverse, once again, is also kind of lacking, and its power to weight ratios aren't particularly great. This tank is tall, heavy, and fat, and its mobility reflects that at the end of the day, really. It has 10 degrees of gun depression, which is just lovely, but once again, we expect that nowadays from Tier 10 British Heavies. They pretty much all have 10 degrees of gun depression. But this thing's armour is where it's going to probably be most controversial. On paper, 200mm hull, that's okay, not incredible. 260mm turret, that's okay, that's not incredible. So on paper, you kind of go, what you want about? Not really anything special. But we'll have a look at what it means effectively in a second, because it tells a different story. But HP-wise, 2400 is okay. It's passable, right? It's slightly lower than now the 60TP with its nerf 2500. But it's okay. 2400 is definitely workable. And it has actually quite nicely 390 meters view range. So this thing can also kind of spot for itself, especially if you do run the vents. You have like over 400 meters view range. So it can also kind of spot for itself. So you're kind of getting the picture here with this tank that it's kind of great. But the one thing we've not looked at yet is this tank's double-barreled mode. And this is where some things have changed that tanks.gg don't have on yet, and most other people haven't covered. So pay attention. I will flash up the updated statistics on the screen as I talk about them to confirm. So the DPM stays the same in double-barreled mode. What happens is, instead of your alpha being 420, it becomes 840. You basically deliver 2 420 alpha shots at the same time. How the mode works in itself is you basically press a button like you do to switch into siege mode on, for example, the SGRV 103B. However, you can continue driving whilst you do so. You can continue reloading whilst you do so. It basically does not stop you doing anything. You can continue driving, reloading, doing whatever you need to do. Obviously, you can't shoot when you're changing, but it's a 2-second switch. So you switch as you're reloading. You switch preemptively. And then you basically just deliver with one single click, no preparation time. You just click like you're delivering a single shot. You just deliver 2 shots. That's how it works. And you get a different reticle on the screen, and it also has different statistics. So when you switch into that double-barreled mode, the statistics change, and that is what we're going to look at today. So the big things that are going to be changing. The aim time massively increases to 3.36 seconds. That is staying the same. That has not changed yet. 3.36 seconds aim time is huge. Basically, you kind of have to sit there and aim for a long time, or just don't aim effectively. That's what a lot of people do. However, this dispersion value is no longer going to be 1.15. It is being nerfed slightly. It is now going to be 1.25. So the base value, so these are the effective values, the base value is being changed from 1.2 to 1.3, also adding 10, so 0.10, to the dispersion. So basically, this is now 1.25 dispersion. So that is, yeah, kind of bad. However, the thing that hasn't changed is obviously its dispersion factors whilst turning the turret, turning the tank, and moving. They remain 0.01 pinpoint accurate. So you don't get any bloom from moving the tank, turret, whatever. You don't get any extra bloom from that. However, you are just not going to be particularly accurate, which basically forces the Canopener to use this double barrel mode at the closest range possible, because it has the really bad aim time and the really bad dispersion, which is obviously now significantly worse. Once again, no longer 1.15, it's now 1.25. Another thing that changes when you switch into double-barreled mode is your mobility. You go from having 34 forwards, 14 in reverse, to 20 forwards, and the thing that's changing, and it's no longer 14 in reverse, it is now 12 in reverse. So when you switch into that double-barreled mode, it is now 12 in reverse. So you also effectively lose your effective top speeds over medium, hard, and soft terrain, they all become limited to 20. So it affects your turret traverse similarly and your camo, but once again, they're kind of less relevant statistics and they're not going to have much of an impact. But the big three that have changed are, this is now 1.25. This, now 12. And most importantly, that I nearly just very silly forgot, and I will flash it up, is 2,250 HP. It is no longer 2,400. They have taken 150 hit points off this tank. That's huge, and that will actually impact this tank's ability to brawl. So, do definitely bear that in mind. So, let's now have a look at this tank's live armor model, and there you go. Now you can see the issue. This tank is strong. It's red. You know, it has a cupola. Well done. You can see that. It has a lower plate. Well done. Most tanks have those. However, most tanks do not have 275 millimeters of weakest armor on its hull and an completely, basically unpenetrable turret and a driver's hatch that is 260, like 7 millimeters to 220 at its thinnest. Yeah, most tanks don't have that. You know, they tend to kind of be more weak, more balanced. You know, let's fire gold at ourselves. Okay, we have a 50-50 chance to pet ourselves in the hull. Okay, that's better. However, standard rounds, yeah, you're just not penning. Yeah, you'll pull off a fluky pen, 1 in 50 games. But you are not reliably penning this hull unless you decide to load gold. And yes, then, you load gold, this thing's big driver's hatch becomes weak and pennable. And yes, its lower plate and lower part of the upper hull becomes pennable. But the one thing we've not looked at yet is this tank in a hull down position. Are you ready for this? Yeah, good luck. You're just not simply penning this. If this tank is played by a very good player, you will have absolutely zero chance to pen this tank in a hull down. They will not overexpose this driver's hatch, which becomes weak. Yes, it's still going to be a 50-50 pen, but they will not expose it. This is basically what you're going to see. You will just see 2 big fat barrels staring at you as you look at it and go, well, shit. I can't really pen this. And, you know, to put it into perspective as to how you are going to actually struggle to pen this tank, let's become a Jagdpanther E100 with 420 millimeters of heat penetration. It's still a 50-50. You have to roll a pen roll and even hit this thing's cheeks to stand a chance. To stand a chance of penning it. So you have to hit what is basically a cupola-sized weak point on the front of the tank. You know, visually, that is what you have to hit on either side to even stand a 50% chance of penning it. That's ridiculous. You know, let's become, I don't know, let's just become a normal heavy tank. You know, let's become a 60 TP, you know, firing gold. Good luck. What do? You have a 50% chance to pen its driver's hatch if it exposes it. You can't see its cupola. You just don't pen it. You just have to monkey YOLO it. You know, you can't even, like, really load AP and do anything, like, funky. Yes, if it's stupid and shows its kind of tracks, you can shoot up into its tracks. That's it. You know, yes, you might be able to pull off a miracle pixel shot on its cupola. Good luck, you're screwed. This tank is just going to be the new hull down simple monster. And there's nothing you can do about it apart from just cry. Because at the end of the day, Wargaming have released Common Test 1, Common Test 2 with no changes. We've got some changes here, you know, to the statistics. We're talking about, you know, comparing it to, you know, what it was previously. It's still going to be great. You know, it's only changing stuff, particularly, you know, it's HP, and then only changing stuff within its double-barreled mode. At the end of the day, the Canopener is going to remain an absolutely stupid heavy tank. You know, to put it into perspective as to how kind of stupid this tank is going to be, let's compare it, right? That's going to be the simple way. So let's compare the can opener to the T10 because that's a similar tank in terms of DPM. And then let's compare it to the new M5Y, which is going to have the newly buffed 120mm gun. Let's do that. So, the can opener to the E5 and the newly buffed M5Y, the newly buffed 120mm gun. So, it's not going to be winning the DPM race. Once again, it can't run a gun rammer. It can run vents and then compete with these base values, but the E5 and the M5Y will pull ahead massively because they can run gun rammers. However, in terms of alpha damage, it beats the E5, 420 compared to 400, doesn't compete with the 440 of the M5Y. Okay, cool. Not really a big deal there. But its DPM is great, basically. Gun handling. This thing has better gun handling than the E5. The E5, known as a traditionally great heavy tank with beautiful gun handling, is now being outshone by a new, just hull-down monster. The can opener is going to have the same aim time as the T10 E5 at 1.92 seconds. However, its dispersion is 0.02 better. 0.32 compared to 0.34. Its dispersion values whilst moving, traversing the tank and traversing the turret are worse, but its base dispersion is better. So they kind of equal out. Its gun depression is better, 10 compared to 8. And, we're not even going to talk about the armor model because, between these. They don't even compare. And, you look at the newly buffed M5Y and it just does not even compete close to the can opener. Much worse aim time, much worse dispersion. It has the same dispersion values whilst moving and traversing the tank, but better whilst traversing the turret. They just don't compete. The can opener is now basically going to be the new best gun handling in single shot mode. Do remember, in single shot mode at tier 10. The new best tier 10 heavy tank with gun handling. It's great. Ridiculous. Mobility. It's slow, right? It doesn't compete with the 37 forwards of the E5 and the 40 forwards of the M5Y with its 34. However, it's bringing great DPM. It's bringing great gun handling. If this thing went as quick as the E5, I think we'd be running to the hills and there'd be riots outside Wargaming's head office. And I still think it's broken. It's slow, but it's still broken at the end of the day. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get into a position to then go sit hull down and be impanable. It's still going to get there. It's not like he's going 20. It's still going to get there. 34 is slow, but it's not the end of the world at the end of the day. We come down with, as I said, I'm not even going to talk about armor. This thing is just ridiculous. It is just the new hull down, just a monster at tier 10. It's a Minotauro on steroids. It's if you combined the hull of a 60 TP with the turret of a Kramvong in its absolute peak. It's just stupid at the end of the day. Not even worth talking about. Obviously, this HP is now back in line with these other tier 10 heavies. So it's now HP is at 2250, not 2400. So that does change things. And, the less relevant statistics like view range and camo, worse, but better than the M5Y, basically. So worse than E5, better than the M5Y. That's kind of the story there. But at the end of the day, the can opener is going to come in and basically do the T10 E5's job of being a single shot, 400 alpha damage plus heavy tank that can go hull down. It's going to be able to go hull down better. It's going to be able to hit its shots better. It's going to have the ability to be flexible because, once again, it has the ability to do its double shot. The double shot on the can opener, I feel, is less of a mechanic to make the tank different. It's more of a mechanic to make the tank flexible at the end of the day. It should not be used every single shot. You should use it in incredibly situational moments where those two shots are going to be your last two shots, maybe. Or you need those two shots to kill a tank that might kill you if you only fired one. Once again, those double shots don't affect the DPM. You just shouldn't really use them in most games. There should be entire games where you don't use the double shot. You just fire it as a single shot tank, because as a single shot tank, it's going to be great. It's going to be the new T10 E5, but slower, slightly less DPM, but it's more accurate and better armor. That's basically the story here. Yes, the can opener, in my opinion, is just going to be stupid. I think it's going to be incredibly toxic for the matchmaker. I really do implore Wargaming to just have a look at themselves because, we've gone away from this haul down meta recently. We've nerfed the Cranbong, we've nerfed the Minotauro, we nerfed the Chieftain, we nerfed the 2790, and then we just decide, let's fuck it. Let's, buff the M5Y into a new haul down monster, buff the Type 71 to be able to play haul down, buff the cow, release the can opener that is just stupid from its inception. Yeah. I'm disappointed. Let's put it that way. I don't think they're going to be great for the game. I think they're going to be horrendous to play against. They're just going to really destroy matchmakers. And I implore Wargaming to have a serious look at themselves, to be honest with you, because I don't think this is a good release, and I don't think this is a particularly good look. So, do let me know what you think about this video in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you like the can opener? Have you played it on the test server? Personally, I have, and, that's informed a lot of my opinions. Yeah, and once again, I'm using my new mic. Do let me know down in the comments what you think about it. Do you like it? Do you think I need to adjust anything? And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all again very soon.